What is up, my dudes? Welcome back to Tyrrell time. I hope you've all had an excellent start to your week, at least better than mine. I have not been sleeping very well at all, and I don't know, headachy, overheated, forgetful. I've done a bit of Googling, and either I'm getting sick or I'm finally going through the menopause. It's one or the other. Of course, WebMD says I'm dying, so just in case this is the last time we ever speak, why don't we have a rundown what's going on? Everyone is unhappy, which is fine. I'm unhappy, you're unhappy, everyone's struggling. Um, we made a small profit at the last Grand Prix, but not enough to handle our monetary woes. Now, as far as I can see, we have no updates on the go either, so things are a little hairy right now. Though last time out we did actually make some progress on our deals, not spectacular progress, but progress nevertheless. Some of you made a very good point regarding perhaps taking a customer deal on the fuels and lubricants. And in fact, you know what? I'm going to be professional. I'm going to credit people properly. I'm going to treat my viewers with the respect and dignity that they deserve, and I'm going to actually bring the video up. I should cut the video right now, but I'm not that professional. Do you know, my content's actually really hard to find, even if I'm the one who's made it. Regardless, I think there were some very well-founded points. I do understand why one would want to have gotten this out of the way and perhaps moved resources onto something else. That said, 500,000 is quite a bit. It's cheaper than tyres. I mean, I suppose we could take that route. I'm just always a bit resentful. The other thing that came up, and I want to thank you, Mr. Mac, for mentioning this, is that hospitality is not achieving very much. I agree, it doesn't. I habitually do it anyway because I find it as a good early warning system for if sponsors are talking to other people. If they decline all your invitations, then you know you're kind of wasting your time. However, this is something approaching a democracy, I suppose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually see if one of these guys will talk to us after all. I'm going to sign a customer deal with Texaco. It's only for 1 year, so I will take you guys up on that. We'll put some guys back on that deal later on. And we will see if Buzzing Hornets are willing to talk to us. I'll only put 5% on for now, and we'll move some extra resources over to the Mugen Honda deal and our tyre partnership deal. We want partnerships in both cases there for sure now. Patronus we're still going to go after. I am going to also yield to the suggestion that we stop spending on hospitality until Monaco. I think that's a very reasonable thing to say, to be honest. So hopefully that will save us a little bit of money. I'm fairly confident our sponsors are not talking to anybody else, but you never do know. We can only build one spare part now anyway. Other people correctly pointed out that they thought maybe I was a little bit too obsessed with maintaining my cars. On that topic, I'm going to actually respectfully disagree. The reason being that wear and damage are compound effects, and the earlier they begin to affect you, the sooner they become totally unmanageable. My tactic has always been to try and stay on top of it within the economic means of the team for as long as possible, because you can get to a point where cars are so worn and your production is so poor that you actually have no race-ready cars if you really just let go of it. And sometimes that can happen quicker than you might think, because you're not just worrying about race wear, but actually you don't need a particularly high percentage of damage on your car for it to be considered unfit to race. So one accident is actually enough to push you over the edge sometimes. So I'm trying to keep car 3 in mint condition for the time being. we'll gradually begin to move that into the cycle as things continue to deteriorate. I do respect the input on it, but I'm going to continue to play this the way I always have, because while I'm quite happy to experiment in the other ways, I would almost certainly say that if you fail to field 2 cars at a Grand Prix, then you are out, and that's not a risk I'm really willing to take. In this round, though, I'm not actually going to perform any major repairs on either car, because my aim is to make sure Rosset doesn't qualify again, and then we have a spare part on hand already to deal with Takagi's car, and we'll have another one in the next round, and hopefully that will tide us over as we approach the mid-season. Right, I think that is just about everything set up. Hopefully Buzzing Hornets will speak to us, but I just don't think we've got the capacity to sign the deal, but you never know your luck. I have actually seen seasons, where team sponsors have gone unsigned, like they don't back anybody, so it's always worth trying your luck. How's the share price looking? Markedly better. It could go up, it could go down. I'm going to go ahead and cash out 15%. That may not be enough. I may regret that later, but if we have to take a loan, then we have to take a loan. Drivers are on super tippy toes careful duty. No setup points to spend, obviously. No new tyres because we are the forgotten child. And yeah. So, in Spain we have 26 degrees and very dry weather. Still none the wiser really as to whether that's going to do us any good or not. I mean, the engine's a hump of crap. Regardless, right, Rosset, you are going out on rain tyres, I'm afraid. It's Andrea Moda all over again. Good, he failed to qualify, which means he can't crash the car. That is infallible logic. He cannot crash the car if he's not allowed to race the car. Takagi puts in a pretty good showing, actually, out qualifying both Minardis, taking 19th from Nakano by 1 point whatever tenths. Can't brain. What I am seeing, though, is that the Goodyears seem to be the tyre to have here. Michael Schumacher takes pole on the 124.41 ahead of Coulthard's McLaren. Fisichella again, Benetton doing very well at the moment. 2 cars in the top 6 in qualifying, split by both Williams, led by Johnny Newhouse. Eddie Irvine and Mika Hakkinen continue to struggle a little bit. The Jordans following up in 9th and 10th. Really pleased with Takagi, to be honest, out qualifying both Minardis, given that his car is not exactly in the best condition and he's running very conservatively. That's nice. 22 degrees, a bit of cloud cover with a strong wind. Obviously that's going to cause a little bit of aerodynamic disturbance, but the cool temperatures should help with engine power at least. Only 1 car to run. Let's see how he does. He's on the soft tyres, so we are going to continue to stop him twice, particularly because Spain's a little bit unfriendly on the old tyres. 14th, last classified runner, but he did make it to the end, so that's good for morale, presumably. Okay, so we have 2 unknown problems taking out Eddie Irvine's Ferrari and Esteban Tuero's Minardi early in the race. The Prost of Jarno Trulli had an engine failure. The hydraulics went on Alexander Wurz's Benetton. Both Schumacher brothers out. Brakes taking out Michael. Accident for Ralph. And Heinz-Harald Frentzen made a driver error. That's unlucky. However, at the sharp end, David Coulthard leads a McLaren 1-2, which I didn't see coming, to be honest, given the dire qualifying Mika Hakkinen had. Giancarlo Fisichella holds on to 3rd to complete the podium and continue Benetton's strong start. Johnny Newhouse takes 4th. Damon Hill, 5th for Jordan. He's on a strong run as well. And the Arrows are back in the points as well, with Mika Salo picking up the last solitary point Good job indeed, Mr. Finish Man. Looking at the Drivers' Championship, Mika Hakkinen continues to lead Michael Schumacher by 9 points now, with Newhouse and Coulthard tied on third with 16 points. Mika Salo and Ralf Schumacher are now both ahead of Eddie Irvine on points, so the Ferrari driver definitely having a troubled start to the season. Damon Hill in a respectable 6th. Good job there too. McLaren continue to lead the constructors by an increasing amount. Williams are second, 2 points clear of Ferrari. Benetton and Jordan sharing 4th place on 12 points apiece, and Arrows continue to hold on to 6th place with 3 points. Excellent start for them. By not running any hospitality, we made a profit there, not 1.6 million. It's including the money we made from our share sale. I'm quite pleased though that we made a good call on limiting how much of the team we gave away. I'm going to hire 2 more guys in the design department because, well, that progress just isn't good enough as far as I'm concerned. Taking a look at Sponsor Town. Oh, our share price has gone up further. Might sell some more. Yes, as suspected, Buzzing Hornets will not speak to us. However, we can put that extra 5% over on the Bridgestone deal. Still no progress with Petronas. No extra progress on the Mugen Honda deal. And no extra progress on the Bridgestone deal. I really don't want to end up a customer again. Absolute priority continues to go to the Mugen Honda deal because that's the most money possibly saved. But if we can get a partnership deal with Bridgestone, that would also be very helpful. Although, do you know, I might actually compromise. We've got 10 rounds to go. Yeah, I'm really not totally convinced that we're going to get this partnership in a way that makes sense, given how much money is on offer from the cash sponsors. It's only a 1-season deal. Let's go ahead and sign a customer deal with Bridgestone. God, that leaves a bitter taste in the mouth. And we will redouble our efforts for Monaco. We are going to splash the cash since we have a little bit. And Petronas, no, Mugen Honda we want Petronas, and ideally we want PlayStation. Just make sure that I've actually got guys on that deal. Yes, I do. They accepted the invitation, which is a very good sign. And if we can get 2 5-star sponsors, that would be really good. Whichever one signs first is going to get the title sponsorship deal. That actually, in case you're not aware, doubles the amount of money you get from them, which would be a handy 4 million in the bank. It's certainly going to put us in better condition than we were last year. There's quite high demand for fan club membership cards and clothing, but we're not really in a position to do much about that. I am going to sell a further 5% of the team. It's good to start stockpiling a little bit of cash now while the share price is high, because of course we have to fund the final build of the cars at the end of the season. And knock out some spare parts as well. I'm also left wondering if it's how much we're talking per Grand Prix. No, maybe next year I'll invest in CAD and CAM. It's going to be a slower build than it was for Arrows, but that's obviously understandable given the difference. And I'm going to strengthen the construction department by quite some strength, reason being, again, to keep costs down at the end of season with that final build of the cars. Everything else is tickety-boo. Let's see if we can't get some wear off Nakano's car. He's in car 1. I'm going to repair his damage as well. Nice. Okay, so we are going to make a fairly significant loss at this Grand Prix, but I'm hoping that that's offset by a bit more sponsor interest, and perhaps we unlock a hospitality advantage. I'm not going for the full 5-star experience, though. We definitely cannot afford to be doing that. Let's confirm all the minor details. Anything new here? I know we didn't go through the news, but it's all going to be depressing. And I'm feeling unwell and I need to eat, so we may as well blast through this episode, and we'll do a longer one tomorrow if I'm not dead. 25 degrees and cloudy in Monaco. That's not good for hospitality. Again, Rosset will be trying not to qualify, but he may actually manage it. He does not. That's good news. Wow, Takagi totally off the pace there, nearly a second behind the slowest Minardi, which was Shinji Nakano. It continues to be a Prost-Minardi-Tyrrell affair at the back of the grid, Panis beating Trulli again. Up at the sharp end, though, David Coulthard takes pole in Monaco at just 200ths of a second, roughly, give or take, ahead of Eddie Irvine, who in turn leads his teammate Michael Schumacher. Wirtz continues Benetton's strong start with a 4th place. Frentzen, Hakkinen and Fisichella follow him, with Newhouse, Schumacher and Diniz rounding out your top 10. Diniz is on a flyer this year. 28 degrees and very dry for race day. That's better. At least they can have some cocktails. We will be double stopping. Actually, no, I might try 1 stopping Takagi. I mean, the race is going to be an embarrassment anyway. If I put him on fresh rubber, you never know. I mean, it's better to pit less in Monaco, given how hard it is to overtake. Let's see. Maybe he crashes out. He does not. He's still last as well. Quite high attrition in that Grand Prix. David Coulthard wins from pole, but Wirtz and Fisichella make it a Benetton-dominated podium. That's awesome. And the 3 of them are the only non-lapped runners, with Frentzen 4th for Williams, 1 lap down, ahead of a Lacey, and Ralf Schumacher in the Jordan takes the last points paying position. Who did we lose? Johnny Newhouse was disqualified. That tells me Williams are running a driver aid they're not supposed to, potentially. Or they're... Well, I can't think of what else it could be in the first season. We shall spy upon them. Both Ferraris out. Driver error from Eddie Irvine. Engine failure for Michael Schumacher. Driver error from Shinji Nakano in the Minardi. Mika Hakkinen also lost to an accident. Pedro Diniz had his suspension give up on him. Jan Magnussen had his engine give up on him, just like everyone else has given up on Jan Magnussen. Jarno Trulli, hydraulic failure in the Prost, and Esteban Tuero's Minardi also had an engine failure. Unlucky. Mika Hakkinen still top of the pile. David Coulthard extending a small lead over Schumacher. Johnny Newhouse 4th. Nothing else of note really, except that Jean Lacey joins the party. Over in the constructors, McLaren still top, ahead of Williams on 31. Benetton closed the gap to Ferrari to a mere 4 points, and Sauber become the 7th pointed team, only 1 point behind Arrows. I think Arrows will be particularly gutted if they finish behind Sauber after such a strong start to the season. Let's see how much money we've lost. Oh, only 200,000. It could have been worse. Did it do us any favours, though? Not really. Not really. Yeah, that's not good. We will shut all this off again, and I will put some more points in here. and I will see you next time. Guys, have a really good evening. Enjoy the Grand Prix if you haven't already seen it, because of course you can watch it on catch up now. I will be back tomorrow, assuming I'm not dead. And this Saturday, the Failcast F1 podcast returns. You can join us. youtube.com/higherplayinggames, all one word, to view from Simon's perspective, or you can go on board with me at twitch.tv/definitely0. We'll be drinking irresponsibly and talking about all the latest F1 news and opinion shenanigans. You guys take care, and we'll catch up really soon. Bye, Z's.